Hi, I'm Celine Yeager. You know that old saying, you never forget how to ride a bike? Well, it turns out that's only partly true. Sure, you can get on your bike and pedal, but do you really know how to drive your bike in today's traffic? Yes, I said drive your bicycle. You see, a bicycle needs to be driven just like a motor vehicle. In most states, bicycles are considered vehicles, and bicyclists have the same responsibilities and rights as motorists. That's why I wanted to spend a few minutes going over some simple tips that will improve the safety and enjoyment of your bicycling. I'm going to cover all the things you need to get ready to ride in terms of equipment, and then we'll look at some bicycling handling basics. We'll teach you the 5 traffic principles bicyclists should abide by, and we'll make sure you know how to avoid hazards you might encounter on the road, bike trails, and paths. By the end of this video, you'll know how to be visible, predictable, alert, and assertive. This advice will help us keep safe on the roadways, help us avoid crashes, we'll feel more comfortable in traffic, and we'll have a great riding experience. A lot of people ask me why I ride my bike so often. There are so many answers, it's hard to choose just one. Beside the benefit of a great low-impact workout that's great for my heart and lungs, there's the pleasure of enjoying the outdoors, relaxing, saving money, and avoiding traffic and parking problems. Riding is also good for the environment. Since it doesn't burn fossil fuel, it can reduce unhealthy emissions. Cycling is great solo or with friends and family. No matter why you ride or where you're going, you need to know how to drive your bicycle with safety in mind. Let's learn from Sue, a seasoned cyclist who has an errand to run. She has asked her friend Mark to join her. Mark is a rookie, and while he thinks he knows all there is to cycling, today he'll learn a few things he never thought of.
Hey Mark, glad you could come with me today. It's a great day for a ride.
Okay, I'm ready to roll.
Where's your helmet, Mark?
Oh, it's in there somewhere. I don't think I need it. I've never crashed before.
Mark, it's not just about your ability to ride. When you're on the streets, you're vulnerable to other people's driving mistakes. I'm not going to let you take that chance. A bicycle helmet can seriously decrease your chance of head trauma. Riding with me, you're going to have to be smart and ride safely. Besides, we need to be a role model for the kids and wear a helmet every time we go out.
Okay, let me go dig it up. It's here somewhere. These things just don't fit right.
There's helmets to fit every rider. You just have to take a few seconds to properly size and adjust them. Your helmet should be the proper size for your head. Different helmets fit differently. Choose one that's not too tight or too loose. The helmet should sit level on your head, and the sliders should form a V underneath your earlobes, and the chin strap should be tight, with room to breathe, of course.
Wow, that feels much better. Let's hit the road.
Hold on, Mark. There are a few things we need to do to get ready. Does that bike fit you properly? It looks like you have enough clearance. You don't want to ride a bike that's too big or too small for you. You should have 1 to 2 inches between you and the bike's top tube. On mountain bikes, with sloping top tubes, you need 3 to 5 inches. Your seat height is correct. Your knees should have a slight bend when your pedal is in the downmost position. You'll maximize your efficiency this way and prevent knee injury. Now, one more thing. Something you should always do, even if you're just going out for a short ride, you should always do the ABC quick check.
Oh, what's that? Can't we just go?
Hold on, it only takes a minute. And judging by the dust on your bike, it hasn't been checked in a while. Hop off, I'll show you.
Oh.
The ABC quick check is easy to remember. A stands for air. Check the pressure in your tires to make sure they aren't too soft. Riding on soft tires can ruin your wheel rims. Also, low pressure could cause a flat. You can check with the inflation rating, which should be printed right there on the edge of the tire. You can also check with a pressure gauge. Most good bike pumps have one built in. B stands for brakes. Squeeze and test the brakes to make sure they're going to stop you. You want to be sure the brake lever doesn't come closer than a thumb's width from the handlebars. If your brakes are worn or too loose, take it to a mechanic from a good bike shop. Let them fix it. Be sure the brakes aren't rubbing and that the wheel is spinning freely. C stands for cranks, chain, and cassette. Grab both crank arms and do the wiggle test. Make sure they're tight. You also want to give a quick revolution to the cranks. Make sure the chain spins smoothly on its rear cogs. Quick! If your bike has quick release levers at the wheel hubs, make sure they are closed tightly. Wheels should be seated snugly in the dropouts. Check the seat binder too if it has a quick release lever. Last is check. Check your bicycle. Do a brief test ride. Make sure everything is working properly and that nothing is loose.
Okay.
If there's anything wrong you can't fix, be sure to take your bike to a good mechanic. It's also important to wear eye protection. We can be traveling at speeds that can turn a simple bug into a blinding torpedo.
Blinding torpedo.
You probably want gloves and sturdy shoes too. Speaking of gear, do you have a light in case we run late?
Should I bring a sleeping bag too? No, I'll be fine.
I've got extra gear in case you need it. We will need white front headlights and rear red reflectors to help make us more visible at times when it's hard to see us. And when it's foggy or rainy at dawn or dusk or at night. Besides, it's the law.
What does the law have to do with us on bicycles?
Bicycles are given the same rights and must follow the same rules as motor vehicles when on the roadway. We're going to follow the rules of the road to stay safe. We're going to operate on the road pretty much the same way as if we were driving a car. You wouldn't go driving a car without lights at night, would you?
No, of course not.
Okay, power pedal up.
What?
That means standing over your bike with the pedal you're going to push down on first in the up position. Okay, great. Use your dominant foot to step down and place the other foot on the other pedal.
Oh, like that, okay.
Whether you're riding the bike path, leaving from your house for an easy spin, or riding a 20-mile commute to work, you will encounter traffic, other riders, vehicles, and pedestrians. One of the keys to your safety is your ability to handle your bike, to balance, steer, turn while scanning for hazards, and to control your speed. Bicycles have a certain challenge when they're on the roadway. To be visible, be predictable, be alert, and be assertive.
Man, this is a lot more involved than I thought. Maybe we should practice riding around a bit. It's been a while since I've been riding.
While you're riding, you should constantly be scanning to your left, to your right, and in front of you to watch for hazards. A basic scanning skill is looking back over your shoulder while steering straight. It's a good idea to practice that, like here in this empty line.
Okay.
It's a good idea to practice safe braking. You want to use a combination of the front and rear brakes. Too much front brake can throw your body weight forward, throwing you over the handlebars.
Oh, gee.
Practice using your front brake as you improve your braking control. If your rear wheel starts to skid, ease up on the front brake. If you have to stop quickly in an emergency situation, you use both brakes and shift your weight back over the rear tire. This helps you make a smooth, controlled stop in a hurry. So turning is more than just steering, it's also leaning. To turn quickly, in order to avoid a crash, there's a technique called the quick turn. Quick turns involve a quick flick of the handlebars in the opposite direction of the turn. This is also called counter steering, which helps get you leaning in the direction of the turn. Turn the wheel back quickly to complete your turn. Do not brake during a quick turn, and make sure the outside pedal is down so you don't scrape the inside pedal during the lean. So Mark, you feel a little more comfortable with your skills now?
Yes. I'm glad we practiced it, though. It's been a long time since I've been on a bike, but it feels really good.
Cool. Well, Mark, you might feel a little rusty, but just keep this in mind. Cyclists fare best when they act and are treated as drivers of vehicles.
But I'm not as big as a car, or as fast. How do I act like one?
You just need to know and follow 5 basic traffic principles. Come on, I'll explain them while we ride.
Okay, let's go.
1. Ride on the right-hand side of the road. If cyclists ride on the wrong way, drivers can't see them, and cyclists can't see the traffic signs and signals. Cyclists need to obey all traffic signs, signals, and roadway markings. Riding in the wrong direction instead of with traffic can cause a crash. 2. Obey traffic laws. You should obey all traffic signs, lights, and roadway markings. Yield to traffic when crossing a more major roadway from a smaller road, just as you would in a car. Take care when riding out of driveways. Even when in a group, each cyclist should stop separately at stop signs. We follow these traffic laws just like when we're driving motor vehicles. This helps others better predict our actions.
Hey, shouldn't we just ride on the sidewalks where we'll be safe from the cars?
Now, in some places, it's illegal to ride on the sidewalk, especially in most downtown areas, so I think we'll generally stay off the sidewalks.
Okay.
Crossing streets or driveways from sidewalks can also be dangerous. Crossing roadways from the sidewalk requires extra caution because motorists may not expect you in the roadway. On a sidewalk, you might also come into conflict with pedestrians and animals, or even a fire hydrant, mailbox, or light post. 3, position according to destination. If you're riding in the road, you want to be in the rightmost lane that serves your destination. So we're going to make a left up here. Which lane do you think we want to be in, Mark?
In the right-hand side of the leftmost lane.
Exactly. Let's break it down. We're going to split each lane into thirds. Each lane has a right 1/3, a middle 1/3, and a left 1/3. Usually for a right turn, take position 3, but don't hug the curb. Straight ahead riding, you want to keep a nice straight line in position 2. Your position on the roadway indicates to others your destination. Straight through cyclists should look over their left shoulder, yield if necessary, and move into the center of the lane to help others see that you're not turning and preempt the cars from turning right and cutting you off. Left-turning cyclist moves to the center of the lane if there is only one lane, or stays in the right-hand side of the rightmost left turn lane if there is a dedicated lane for left turners. It's also best to take the lane if you're going the speed of traffic or if the lane is too narrow to share.
Take the lane, what does that mean?
Taking the lane means riding in the center of the lane, but only after you've checked over your shoulder to make sure it's safe to ride in the center. Ride at least a door's width away from parked cars. We should generally ride single file, but since there's plenty of room for others to pass here, it's okay to ride 2 abreast. If you're ever in doubt, you can check your local bike laws. In fact, it's a good idea to check the bike laws wherever you're riding.
Okay, I can do that.
Hey Mark, we're gonna hang a left up here. Before we change lanes, you want to yield, scan for traffic, and then take the lane.
What about hand signals?
Use hand signals if possible. You should always use head movements and eye contact. When you turn your head to look in the direction you want to move, that sends a strong signal to others that you're preparing to make a move. To avoid objects and double parked cars in your lane, look over your shoulder before making a distinctive change of position within your lane. When changing lanes, check over your shoulder and yield before moving. Each lane change requires 2 shoulder checks and 2 yields. Use the same technique when moving back to the right. Four, position according to speed. When riding slower than the traffic around you, leave room for drivers to pass if the lane width permits. But don't hug the curb. You need room to maneuver, and you want to discourage unsafe passing. When you're going the speed of traffic, take the lane. When riding faster than traffic, only overtake on the left. Avoid passing on the right of cars. They don't expect you there, and you're not riding predictably. 5, position at intersections.
I forget, what do we do at intersections?
Just remember the rule of thirds. Right turners take the right 1/3 of the lane. If you have a dedicated left turn lane, and it's too narrow to share with another vehicle, take the lane, just as you would in a car. If the lane is wide enough to share, stay in the right 1/3. This puts you on the proper side of the road after you complete the turn. If there is no dedicated lane for turning, and the lane serves 2 destinations, favor the left 1/3 of the lane. Straight through traffic can move around you on your right, while you wait for oncoming traffic to clear so you can turn. Straight through riders take the lane, but always yield to pedestrians.
Wow, that's a lot to remember.
Just think of where you would be in the roadway if you were driving your car. Remember, your road position is a signal to the other drivers around of what you're doing. You can avoid conflicts and collisions by being...
Okay, let me see if I remember. Will be first, visible, second, predictable, third, alert, and then fourth, assertive. What do you do about things you can't predict, like these bricks in the road?
You have to be aware of the road surface conditions. If it's wet or there's gravel, you could fall. The road is constantly changing, so it's best to keep your eyes gliding back and forth across the road surface. You are scanning or looking around for traffic hazards and animals, but you can never forget to look for ruts, holes, bumps, rocks, and other stuff on the road. There are a few road hazards I've learned to look out for. There's typically gravel near corners. Metal surfaces get slippery when wet. Drain grates are really dangerous with thin tires. Train tracks also require caution. Cross at a right angle.
What if a car turns right suddenly and cuts me off?
Collisions can be caused by motorists who pass cyclists and then cut them off by turning right. Another common motorist error is a left turn in front of an oncoming cyclist. Here's the best way to react to these motorist errors. We know that turning the bike is faster than stopping. If a car is turning right into you, quick turn tightly. Always look and listen for signs that a car may make an abrupt turn, anywhere such a turn is possible. Look at the front wheels, and look for a place to do the quick turn maneuver.
Our friends are making good progress through town. If you've been out riding in your town, you may have noticed there are more bike lanes and paths appearing in communities, and it's important to know how to ride there as well as on roads without special provision. Trails offer an opportunity to ride in different locations and conditions. However, bike lanes, paths, and trails are sometimes not as well maintained as roads. Bike lanes are basically travel lanes on the road, which are reserved for bikes. Ride in the bike lane if it allows you to follow the advice we have given about riding in traffic. Don't think it gives you immunity from someone opening a car door into your path. So ride well out of the door zone and always be alert to possible turning vehicles at intersections. If the bike lane is blocked or has a surface defect or hazard, scan, signal, then change lanes to ride outside the bike lane. Make left turns as if the bike lane did not exist, from the left side of the lane that will turn, or from the left turn lane if a turn lane exists. If you're proceeding straight at an intersection, move into the center of the straight-through lane to discourage motorists from turning right from your left side. A shared-use path is an off-road facility, generally paved, used by bicyclists, pedestrians, and many others. Bicyclists must always yield to pedestrians or horses, ride at speeds appropriate for conditions, and provide an audible warning when passing other path users. Use a bell or call out,
Fasten on your left.
Remember, Mark, when it rains, you need to dress appropriately. You don't want to overdress and get too warm. You also need to be extra careful on the roads when the roads are wet. Avoid riding through puddles. You never know what they might contain.
Oh, okay.
Just like with a motor vehicle, wet brakes take longer to stop, so give yourself plenty of room. Ride slowly and without turning when crossing wet grates or metal surfaces. Turning your wheels on wet metal increases the chances that you'll slip.
Hey, Sue, did you say something? Hey, Sue?
No, I wasn't talking, because when climbing a hill, you should climb single file.
Well, at least it stopped raining at last.
Over the crest of the hill, ride as far right as possible. On curvy, narrow descents, take the lane. Hey, Mark, you should probably put this on. It is the law.
Oh, can you get a ticket if you violate the law?
You bet. Law officers can give you a ticket. It's the law, but more importantly, it's your life.
all state laws require a white front headlight. This is to make you visible from the front. A red rear reflector to make you visible from behind. Ankles and pedals should be lit with reflective tape to help motorists identify you as a cyclist on the road. If you don't use the proper lighting and wear the proper clothing and gear when riding in low light situations, you'll be almost invisible to motorists and pedestrians. A low-level light or reflector that's picked up too late by a car's headlights won't help you. You need to be detected, recognized, and avoided at all times.
It's as much your responsibility to be safe and be seen in the dark as it is for other vehicles not to overlook you. It's important to be seen in low light conditions as well. Dawn or dusk, fog and cloudy days. This is just like all other vehicles, only consider yourself even more vulnerable than if you were in a closed vehicle. Be extra cautious. Remember, Mark, cyclists fare best when they act and are treated as drivers of vehicles.
Wow, that was a great ride, Sue. I learned a lot about driving in traffic. I feel much more comfortable bicycling on the road. I can handle traffic now. I think I'll be using my bike a lot more now that I know how to ride like the rest of traffic.
That's great, Mark. I'll give you a call the next time I'm going out for a ride. I'll see you later.
Okay, Sue, take care.
You too.
Bye.
More and more people want to ride safely and enjoy bicycling for fun, fitness, and as a mode of transportation. The only way you can prevent crashes and falls is to drive your bike in a safe manner. At all times, be visible, be predictable, be alert, be assertive. Bicycling is fun, but it requires all your concentration. It requires using a helmet, lights, and bright colored clothing, and a bicycle in good repair that's properly fit to you. It requires you follow the traffic principles and be prepared to avoid hazards. This film was produced by the League of American Bicyclists. I'm Celine Yeager. Ride safe.